very much for coming. All right, thank you everyone for coming today. As I said earlier, this is a bit of an unscripted event, something that started between a conversation with Chief and I on Friday, and obviously a lot's happened since then. But what happened has made this moment today, I think, even more important than ever. I have a few words I would like to say. I don't have a script that I prepared or a speech. I just want to share a few things from my heart, and I'm going to allow some of our fellow community leaders to say a few words, and then also we want to hear from some of you. And so with that being said, I just want you to know, I've said it nonstop for the past week and through the weekend, that we stand united in solidarity against racism and hate, and institutionalized racism and hate, injustice and inequality wherever it's found, especially in law enforcement across this country. We have to own that. We have to do it. Starts with the leaders of these departments and agencies, big and small. And I understand that these words are great. It's important for a step. People have been wanting law enforcement leaders to step up for a long time and be very public on this issue. And we hear you, and that is happening, but now it's time for action. We have to follow through with that. What happened in Minnesota was wrong. The death of George Floyd was a travesty. It never should have happened. Those officers deserve to be held accountable for their actions. It's guilty. And so I want you to know that that's not just words. We truly believe that. I've had many conversations. Chiefs of police and sheriffs across this nation and this state are loudly shouting the same message, and I haven't had a conversation with a single member of law enforcement that hasn't said the same thing and agreed. So I think that's important to note. I want to thank you all for coming here. We have a lot of people that want to speak, and so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chief Ahern next. He's a little bit more eloquent than I, no pressure, and we'll go from there. Thank you again for coming.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. I'm going to try to yell into the microphone a little bit through the mask, but today I don't have a lot to say. I do have a lot to say, but it's for you. You know, as this event has evolved in the last several days, I gave it a lot of thought, and what was designed initially for some courage, quite frankly, that I needed to come forward as a police leader with the community support has really evolved into more about what the community has to say. So we want to make sure, the chiefs and the sheriffs who are here, we want to make sure that you have a chance to speak if you would like to. But today was designed for all of us to come together to make a statement about the murder of George Floyd at the hands of the Minnesota, the police department in Minnesota. What happened, you know, we've talked about it so much. That was this the last one? This cannot happen in the United States of America, but it continues to happen. People of color continue to be discriminated against, brutalized, and murdered at the hands of law enforcement officers in this country. It's got to stop. And I think Humboldt County is making a statement today. We do not accept what is happening in other parts of the country. We acknowledge that it is a stain on law enforcement throughout the world. And we take ownership of that. We carry George Floyd on our shoulders as law enforcement officers. We are his pallbearers today and moving forward. And may we never forget George and others who have died at the hands of law enforcement officers in our country. But something has got to change. And that's where we need all of you, first and foremost, to hold us accountable. Secondly, to join our ranks. We need people of color in leadership positions throughout the criminal justice system. There have been tremendous reforms in our system, but much more is needed. We saw what happened a week ago, and it is a reminder that as far as we've come, we have so much far to go. There is so much work left. We've got to have systems in place. We are broken systemically as a criminal justice system. And words are meaningless unless it's followed with action. I want to thank the city of Arcata, the city of Eureka, Humboldt County. I want to thank all the chiefs and the sheriff who were able to join us today, but most importantly, I wanted to thank the community members who came here with very little notice, but obviously this is important to all of you. And we need to set an example here in Humboldt County. That's our commitment to all of you. The work is just getting started, the hard work. I want to now call upon Sheriff William Hansel of Humboldt County, who I know has a few words to say. But before we leave here today, I really would like for all of us to stand in unity and make a statement for Humboldt County against police brutality, against discrimination, against systemic racism. Before I turn it over to the sheriff, would you please join me in a kneel of silence for George Floyd?
Getting old is not for sissies, is it?
Thank you, Sheriff Hansel.
Thank you all for coming here today. I hope you all can hear me. I'll try to speak loud, okay? So the message is loud and clear for all of Humboldt County to see what we are saying, to hear what we are saying, and to see how we are united in this stance. To have Chief Watson, Chief Ahern organize this, I really, really appreciate that effort because it speaks to the leadership of our county law enforcement leaders. We are dedicated to be here to offer what we have, and that is peace. That is our number one goal. We are peace officers. If we lose the peace, we can't be officers. So we are peace. And it says in the Bible, blessed are the peacekeepers, for they shall be called the children of God. And so I believe that. And I believe that people who are truly called to this public service position put and understand that peace is a part of our name. And so it is with a heavy heart we're here. But also I want to say that one thing that kills progress is apathy. Okay? We cannot become apathetic here in our community to say it doesn't happen here. We can't become apathetic in our nation to say we can't have a chance for a dialogue or a conversation. The conversation needs to continue. And I'm telling you, I'm standing here with my law enforcement leaders and our departments to say we will not stop here in Humboldt County. We will continue to meet with minority groups, with different leaders here in our community to establish partnerships, to establish trust. Trust does not happen overnight. It happens every day through every contact, and some things go wrong sometimes. Okay? We are intersecting people at their most vulnerable parts of their lives. And we are dedicating ourselves to train our deputies, to train our officers to deal with people at their worst moments through crisis intervention training, through de-escalation, and to work these things. And we are dedicating ourselves to make sure to hold us accountable, like Chief Watson said, Chief Ahern said. We want to be accountable to you. We want you to have faith in our leadership. If we lose that, I don't want this position. None of us want this position because we need you as a community to trust us. And if we don't have your trust, we should not be in these positions. So it's okay to call. It's okay to voice a complaint. It's okay to say that we missed the mark because that's how we get better. Okay? And we can only grow through adversity. And right now, we are growing in this community. And so I appreciate everyone being here today. I think this is great. I think an open mic is always a good idea for people to come and share their thoughts. And I think everyone needs to think of one thing, and that's listen. Listen with your heart. Listen. Because we don't know the pain
that people are going through on a daily basis. We don't know what someone may be going through in their life. And so let's take the time and let's listen to one another. And let's offer one thing, love. Hate is too big of a burden to bear, right? So let's offer love as that to drive out hate. That's the only thing that's going to work. And so I'm going to continue to beat that drum, and beat that drum with our deputies and our officers, because that's the only thing that is going to work in our community and our nation. So I thank you guys for being here, and I'm always available, except my wife. She says that I'm not, and so she hasn't seen me a whole lot lately. But anyway, we're here, and we want to make sure that we're here listening and always having that conversation. So thank you guys all for being here today. I'm going to call up Chief Flores from the College Redwoods Police Department.
It is good to see Humboldt County come together and standing together. The way we overcome these things, officer abuse, things that happen to our community, is coming together. Law enforcement can't do anything all by themselves. It's a requirement to have a relationship with our community and what you stand for. So, do Black Lives Matter? They sure do. So we need to come together. We need to love each other. We need to cross bridges. When something feels uncomfortable about reaching out to someone else, we need to make that effort to come and see with someone else, see what they're living, what they're going through. We do a lot better with relationship, with hope, with love, than we do with despair, hatred, and ugliness. So I think, and I'm really proud of Humboldt County, that we do care. My daughter was out here the last 2 days protesting, and we stand behind her. My wife and I stand behind her. We want her out there. We also have African American in our blood. We got a little bit of Hispanic in our blood. We want to be there for all of you and stand side by side. A lot of people have stood up in the past, and it's hard to believe after 200 years we're still having to come together and do these kind of things. What we're asking you from the law enforcement side is to come alongside of us, to keep an eye on us and to keep an eye on our community so that we can have the best impact and the greatest results. Without you guys, we don't exist. So we are family. So thanks again. Appreciate it.
Black Lives Matter!
Black lives do matter. Black Lives Matter. Chief Lofhouse would like to say a few words, please.
I want to thank everybody for being out here today. It's so important that we're out here. I want to thank everybody for being out here. Can you hear me now?
It's a big mask.
Thank you for being out here. Well, it's so important we're out here and you're expressing your views, because we need to hear, we need to listen, and we are. Things need to change. And as a community, we are changing. It's despicable what happened, and it shouldn't ever happen, especially in our community. Thank you for being out here.
Thank you, Chief. And before we open it up to members of the community, is there any other council members or other local community leaders that'd like to come up for a moment and say a few words? Councilmember Messer?
Can you guys hear me? I'll yell. First of all, I just want to say I want to agree with everything that everyone has said so far, and really appreciate this community. Each and every one of you have come out today to stand. This is a critical time in our history. If we don't stand now, a nation divided will fall. We have to stand united. We are a nation of all color. We are a beautiful nation. And if we do not stand together, we will fall. We need to be united. I see and love all of every one of you out here. I just look at all of you across this sidewalk and across this street. And you're beautiful. You make up the incredible thing that makes our community awesome. We are a community of diversity. We're a community of love. Just like Sheriff said, that we need to stand in love and unity together. I have family of all different color, and I can't even imagine not having the family that I have. If I called each and every one of them yesterday and just asked how they were doing, and I hope you're doing the same. Checking in with your friends and your neighbors and your family, seeing how they're doing. This is a rough time across our nation, and we need to stand united. We need to check in with each other. We need to encourage one another. We need to listen and hear one another's hearts and be there beside people in their anger, their frustration, their pain, and their hurt that they're experiencing. And so when we do that, we uplift one another. We actually make each other better, and we make each other stronger. So let's unite in every day, not just today, not just right now, but in the most difficult times that we're facing. We're facing some incredibly difficult times right now. But when we stand united, we will conquer, we will overcome, and we will make change. Not only in our community, I believe we can start here and move across the entire nation. We can influence this world. This community right here can do that. So thank you. I appreciate every one of you, and I know you all came out today.
Hey friends, so my name is Kimber Gell, and I'm a lifelong resident of Eureka. And I just want to say, I'm on the city council, but the reason that I'm here today is because I really want to let you all know how much I appreciate the last 2 days. I've attended both of the rallies, and I have been really pleased to see how people are interacting, mostly in positive ways. Unfortunately, towards the end of the evening, we get people that really want to rebel rouse, but for the most part, we've been having some really great dialogue, and I appreciate that. And I really want to also speak to this idea of not discounting the whole Black Lives Movement, because it matters. You know, I'll probably botch this, and people will probably hate me for it, but what I want to say is that No, I'm going to say it. I think that people, no, you're not going to hate me for that. Maybe you will, but I just have to
If you
speak
start
what
a
I
sentence
think.
with "this might offend people," you
It's
don't
gonna
finish
be
the
offensive.
So
sentence.
what I'm going to say is that people feel like Black lives, you know, that all lives matter, and I think that's true. But I think when one portion of the population is being constantly looked down upon and treated poorly, we need to focus on that population. And that's why I think that the Black Lives Movement matters. Is so important. And I hope that we will continue to grow together as a community and work our way through that. So, yep, we're done. Thank you.
I would like to speak. Hello, everybody. My name is Mo Harper Desir. I'm a local cultivate on this land that we recognize who it belongs to. I'm here today as a Black woman, as a biracial woman, as a Black mother, and as a Black Humboldt County community member. It is humbling to see the amount of support these demonstrations in this cause have gotten over this past weekend, and I thank those who have wanted to be a part of it, who have aided in supporting us through these hard times. But these stories are nothing new. The deaths of Black and brown and indigenous bodies caused by police brutality and the structure of the police state this month are small numbers to a very large, long list that has been adding names since segregation. Aubrey Evans, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Tony McDade all lost their lives in the last 6 days. Recognizing these things as they happen, holding space for them, holding space for our Black community to feel through these moments are important. And even more important in areas like Humboldt County, places that are predominantly majority white or white passing POCs. Oppression here doesn't look the same as it does in other places. It's quiet, it's shrugged off, it's dismissed as ignorance or a sense of pride. But for those of us experiencing it, this oppression, these microaggressions, these ignorant phrases, the side eyes, the fear, it's not any of those things, it's our everyday life. In most of the places we go with, we encounter these things. This community's majority has a lot of work to do. And I'd like to think that if you're a non-white person, regardless of your background, here today listening to these words, you're ready to create, sustain, and maintain this change that we need to speak into our community. The more important actions to change come after this protest. And it's not just demonstrating. We need structural rebuilding. We need black and brown businesses to flourish. We need black and brown representation in our city councils, our city offices, our schools and higher education offices. We need to praise and respect and uplift the black and brown professionals and community members we already have. Majority of them are standing right here. And you probably don't know them. We need equity, education past syllabi and diversified storybooks. We need tangible trainings and courses for educators and students. Allyship goes so much further than showing up for protests. It's standing in solidarity even when the media isn't advising us to do so. There aren't local organizations asking us to make calls, or we're trying to cover our ass for things we've done in the past. It's creating diversity efforts within your businesses, the schools, community events, or at work. It's considering the viewpoints of identities you don't belong to. It's asking what is needed instead of assuming. It's intervening during racially fueled situations. It's recognizing the privilege amongst the systematic structures in our county and using them to advance the oppressed. It's starting a conversation with your neighbor that hangs a Confederate flag. It can be as simple as giving space to those oppressed to heal or process trauma without your intervention, opinions, or input. The police state structurally has never supported, helped, or aided the black, brown, or indigenous communities. We as a whole have actually learned to avoid them, fear them, and to never seek out help from them. Although this is what the system was created to do, serve and protect. Instead, we see school-to-prison pipelines in inner cities occupied by black and brown bodies. We see peace met with aggression. We see native land being stomped over and ripped out of the hands of those it belongs to. And oftentimes, we see the misuse of power. As a community with few cases of police misconduct, we look to our own police staff to set an example, to weed out the police that may be clouded by misjudgments, biases, generalizations, and racially based decision-making. And racially based decision-making that we know come from the white supremacist infrastructure of our country. We saw many of these officers being at one with the protest by day, but we also saw a number of folks met with hostile tactics by night. So today we ask for transparency, we ask for support, and we ask our police department to hear their black community when we say there is a chance for you all to do better, to be the good guys, but it starts within the structure of this office. You all work in as well as a self-journey to each officer to dismiss any racist biases, generalizations, or upbringing you may have encountered to remain objective. Just as you all like to say not all cops are bad, we are saying you're wrong. You are all responsible until something changes. Just how all black and brown bodies suffer at the hands of the same generalization. The black and brown community specifically are told to move past trauma into our bodies and then into our movements, our thoughts, and actions. We cannot continue in this cycle. We must end generational trauma. We are allowed to heal. We are allowed to live. We are allowed to feel. Yes. We are allowed to be welcomed into our own community and shouldn't have to fear the infrastructures that support the majority. This country wasn't designed to support us. Change needs to start from the bones of this country, just like it needs to change from the bones of this county. I will now list off a number of names that we have lost due to police brutality over the last couple of years. Trayvon Martin, Akai Gurley, Eric Gardner, Terrence Krucher, Tamar Rice, Mike Brown, Freddie Gray, Philandro Castell, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Alton Sterling, Rakia Boyd, Antonio Martin, Walter Scott, Jamar Clark, Ayanna Jones, Corrine Gaines, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Monica Diamond, Nita Pop, Tony McDade, David Josiah Lawson, and so many more. Black lives matter. Black trans lives matter. Black lives matter. Black joy matters. And most importantly, black joy matters. Don't just gather. Don't just gather for black pain and black suffering. Gather for us when we want to have joy too.
Chief O'Rourke just arrived and wanted to say a few words, and we're going to start opening it up to members of the public. I see you, sir.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can, sir.
Next now, Gregor Rourke, I will match up more SC, Mego Mecha Morik, SC Nochko, SC Kepel. So my name is Gregor Rourke. I'm an Iraq Indian from the villages of Morik, Nochko, Kepel along the Klamath River. So I didn't prepare anything to say, and I felt compelled to speak from my heart. So that's how we were raised. When it's time to pray, when it's time to gather, you don't script it, you just speak from your heart, and that's what this is going to be today. So please forgive me if I fumble my words. I want you to know that they're sincere, though. Growing up Native up here and the generational trauma that my family and myself have gone through and have learned to defeat is something that's should be recognized here as well. So an example of that is when we talk about the missing, murdered indigenous peoples. So here in Humboldt County, we have 2 Native women, Chick White, Sumi Wan, that have been missing for longer than I've been a cop or Chick. And I don't hear their names being mentioned when it comes to the missing people here in Humboldt. I don't hear their names being mentioned except when it comes from my family and when I go up home and when we pray up there. And so I know that pain. I know it. And that pain and that hurt is what prompted me to go into law enforcement, because I told myself if my family was going to get pulled over, I would want them to be pulled over by somebody like me who understands that pain, who understands that trauma, and can have compassion with that. So I can only speak to what my sphere of influence will allow. And I feel fortunate that I'm in a position now as a chief of a police department to be able to have a positive impact on law enforcement. And I can say with absolute certainty that if I did not believe in the law enforcement leadership standing here with me, I wouldn't be here on this side wearing a uniform. I would be out there wearing my heart on my sleeve, which I'm doing now. So I do believe that this is moving forward. Has taken generations to get to where we are right now, and I don't believe that it can be healed overnight, but this is the first step, being able to get together with law enforcement leadership, with community leaders, to express our pain, express the frustration, and then hear each other's words and not just try to force down an opinion upon the other is how we are going to be able to get through it. We have a unique version, any individual. I will let you know what my opinion is. I'll let you know what my belief is. And I will promise you that the department that I'm building, I will strive to safeguard very fervently the public trust that you have placed in us. I vow that to you. Walk now, and walk now, walk now.
Thank you, Chief. So you've seen us stand here, your local law enforcement leaders united, and that's what we wanted to do. We appreciate you taking a moment just to hear us, but now it's our turn to listen. So I'd like to begin to invite those who would like to come up and say a few words. I do want you to say the things you feel that you need to say. I just ask you to be mindful that there's probably a lot of people that may want to speak, so we get a chance to have as many heard as possible. And it is kind of interesting how this big thing is a lot quieter than that little one she's holding over there in her hand. But you can either use that or come up and feel free to use the mic. So who would like to come up next? And I think Wallace wants to come up.
I like women. Men I didn't want to make this about me, but it's important to come from. My name is Micaiah. I am a descendant of the captured, the enslaved, and of Native people. And our lives matter. Our lives matter. Pro-black is not anti-white. Again, pro-black is not anti-white. All lives matter has nothing to do with this movement is about. Your house is burning down. Your house is burning down. Your house is burning down. You have children inside of your house, and you call the police to respond to the situation. You have children inside. The police show up and they hose down the entire neighborhood and get to your house last, and your kids are dead. That's what we mean by Black Lives Matter. Okay? It's about my burning house with my children inside, not the entire neighborhood. The neighborhood is safe, but my house is on fire right now. I'm actually from D.C., and my city is what this is about. We can go on and on about systemic racism. We can go on and on about mass incarceration and how mass incarceration is the modern day slavery. We can go on and on. But today, I just want to say that our life matters. Black lives matter. Okay, and it's time for us to plant a seed, plant a legacy. We need plans. We need policies. We need black people in the offices that can build and plant and create a new system that will serve all of us. What do you stand for? What do you value? I wanted to invite some black poets and spoken word artists today to come and speak and share their stories. But before I do that, I had a poem and everything. I can't even do it right now. But I want to invite Miss V to say a few words and to pray for our people. Thank you.
Just speak louder.
Before I get started, I just ask that everyone go ahead and bow their heads. Before I get started, I ask that everyone bow their heads. In respect of the black culture, this is what we do, and I'm just asking that you go ahead and bow your heads with us. Father God, we just thank you for this time and this place of reconciliation. Father God, we thank you for being present among us right now. We ask for healing. We ask for the idea of to be able to be free is so present right now, Father. And we just want to be free, Father. Father, from the chains that's been holding us down, we want to let them go, Father. We just want to be able to move on and move further on in our lives, Lord Jesus. And we just ask right now that you just bring a healing along this land. We ask that you bring a healing in Humboldt County. Father God, there are people present right now that don't know what's happening. They're just here, but they don't know what's happening, Father. And I ask that you open their minds and their hearts to what is going on, and that they let go of whatever is holding them back to be able to be a part of this community right now and hear with their hearts, not with their voices, but with their hearts, and listen with an open mind, Father God. We just ask this blessing upon us right now. You said, ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you, Father God. You said, my sheep hear my voice, and they know me and they follow me, and I give unto them eternal life. Father God, we ask right now for this eternal life. We ask for the freedom to let go and be us. Let us be the people that you raised us to be. Let us live in morals. Let us live the way our parents raised us to be good human beings. Let us love one another, Father, because that's how we were raised. From our mothers and our fathers, we were raised to love one another. So, Father God, we ask that everyone here right now just love one another. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Amen.
But let brother that went out of the way and said my part. I give honor to God in Jesus' name. Can you hear it? You know, this is my famous words. When your mama and daddy black, red don't crack either. And I'm 71. I have to say that kind of stuff. I've been in Eureka 27 years. I came from LA. I heard y'all do the cry, no justice, no peace. That's the cry we had in 92 in LA. I was there for the 65 riot. I am 71. I was there for the 60. I couldn't help but know that we made that cry up in LA. You know what I mean? I mean, the girl was an honor student, ran track, and this woman, I'm not going to even name who it is. The only sad part was the judge. The jury found her guilty, and the judge gave her $500 community service. Oh, hell yeah, we're going to ride. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it was. Now, I've been here 27 years, and I'll tell you something. I've learned to love white, black, and Indian. I love America. The Indian part was black, was easy. I got a Cherokee great-grandfather, so that was easy. But I've learned to love a people that I'd rather be in L.A., but God would rather have me here, and I'm thankful. Period. I know nothing. Come on. I know nothing. But I know everything through God who saved me. I want to be like Jesus. I want to be like my big brother. He said, you or me, I am you. You can do greater things than me. And y'all pray for the police every night for the next month. Because it ain't going to hurt. Because they got a hell of a lot to go through. Pandemic, idiots. I'm going to try to tell you.
Can we keep a space for the black voices? I think it's kind of prioritized right now.
And I am in that black men's meeting.
I want to speak soon. I'm 40 years in the community. I got something to say, and I'm saying that respectful.
Amen.
Well, I'm going to speak next.
Oh,
Well, I'm standing here.
come right now? You want to come up now?
I'll make it really brief if you don't mind.
Oh, and I forgot Mills. They brought him up on the NBC News today. I would like that. I like that.
But when I left home, I saw on CNN George Floyd's brother come to the spot where his brother lost his life, and he knelt down. And I want to apologize to y'all because y'all are probably right, and I'm probably wrong. But I just got something to say. I come from Albany, Georgia, where the golden footsteps start, where Martin Luther King, where the march started. I grew up in Albany, Georgia. My hometown had lynchings. And I can't say I feel it. I just got educated about it. I've been here 40 years. When I came here, you could have picked this county up out of South Georgia and put it right here. And I happen to be white, worked for 40 years. So I know what's in this community. And after Katrina, I spent 5 years in Mississippi helping the people. And 7 years ago, I was in North Central Florida for 2 years, where they got rebel flags on billboards, and they got KKK live and well. So I just want to end it with this. They're right. Like Bob Marley said, who feels it knows it. They're right. I apologize to each and every one of you personally, but I've been angry and hurt, and it's hard for us white folks to hear it, but they're right. We're wrong. It is about the black folks being killed, and it's Trayvon Martin on forward. I apologize to all y'all again. Thank you, sir. And the field. You're right.
Do something with me real quick. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. I like to project because I was in the course, so I know how to do this. So give me a moment, please. Because my heart, I'm emotional right now. I'm emotional. But I try not to let it stay that way. Because just to break it down for everybody here real quick, the reason why people riot, just to let you understand, the reason why people riot like at the Boston Tea Party. Can I say that again? Like at the Boston Tea Party. That's how they showed the power that they had. That was an institution that they attacked. Not the people, not the boats, but the institution that was represented. Do you understand me? So when you see these people burning down buildings, it's not talking about the people. It's about the institutions that represent the oppression. So I want to say that first. Second, I would like to say, wait a minute, let me get back to this. Can I get everybody to close their eyes real quick? And can everybody take a deep breath? Hold it. Now slowly let it out. Take one more deep breath, suck it in, hold it, and let it out one more time. The reason I do that is to allow myself to humble myself. And what I mean by that is that kind of lets go of the ego or the ideas and the belief systems that I might have. It gets you back in connection with your body and your spirit of intuition. So first of all, I would like to thank you for having this. Because you didn't have to have this. So I thank you. I mean that. I truly thank you. And I want to thank you for the protest that was had, because on the videos you can see what some of y'all were instigated into having a problem. You didn't get antagonized. I appreciate that. Do you hear me? As one African American man in America, I'm telling you I thank you. And I'll look every one of you in the eyes and tell you I appreciate you. I almost became a police officer after I got out of the Marine Corps.
Not too late.
And I thought about it, exactly. And I thought about it and I was like, no, I didn't want to bring that mentality to the force because I thought that I wasn't ready. So I appreciate what good police officers, public safety come out and do for us. I appreciate that. I really, really do. But now let's check this out. This is going to end. What are we going to do after all of this is said and done?
Come on. It doesn't end here.
So what I've been doing and what I would like to ask you guys about is, do you have a citizens review board? And what I would like to see is a relationship built between the community through a citizen review board. Because that's how that is supposed to work. So that's what I would like to talk about after this. Okay? So I would like to say thank you for everyone that came here. I appreciate you took the time out of your day to do this. You didn't have to come here. But I thank you because this shows support to the African American community. You understand me? Do you understand me? So I appreciate the ones that aren't that dark to come out for the ones that are dark. So I appreciate that. I truly mean it. And as in the Marine Corps, like we say, we ain't got time for racism because all of us agree that we're on that line. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you. Y'all be safe out there on them streets because y'all deal with some crazy people. And once again, thank you for this opportunity and this time. But I would literally love to talk to you about the action you can do.
My sister's life and my life while I was a baby.
My name's Attribute, for y'all that don't know me. Government name is Devon Russell Fowler. From Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, Lafayette Gardens, DeKalb, and Classen. I say that because the 88th precinct which got ransacked, is my neighborhood in New York. The reason why I feel that that precinct got ransacked is because those cops were doing a lot of dirty stuff. I personally got beat when I was 10 years old. I personally almost got framed when I was 13 years old. I personally was sent, well, excuse me, I was doing some dirt, but at 16 years old. But I was sentenced as an adult in this system. As a child, 16 years old, I was on Rikers Island. If you haven't heard of Rikers Island, it's one of the worst county jails in the United States, and also one of the biggest. I've seen things that would give you people nightmares. I've seen things done by cops and law enforcement that may give some of y'all nightmares. So my question to you is, with these nightmares comes monsters. Y'all look and dress, and some of y'all act like monsters. So how do you make the people not fear the monsters when your whole organization was based off of slave catchers? Your whole organization is based off of saying one thing, then backsliding on it. It's not a white thing. My grandmother's German. My mother's half white. My son is the white version of me. Literally. Light skin, gray eyes. But why do I have to explain to him and his darker sister the difference why he can go out, but she can't? Why do I, when I get in my car, I'm in my rear view when I'm not doing anything? Eureka is an exception. Arcata is an exception. But Fortuna ain't. And Crescent City ain't. It's so many different places. Y'all are that shining light, but y'all are like a unicorn running into a narwhal. Are y'all willing to go on record and say your true opinions about this man killing this man? 9 minutes, 8 minutes, excuse me, I watched the whole video, 8 minutes, it was plus 9 something, 10 something, from when they originally arrested him. Are you willing to go on record and say that?
I have.
This is a whole different group of people. We in front of the news cameras now. We in front of a whole different audience now. I got a lot of followers. A lot. We just did, I'm with Bone Thugs and Harmony. We just did Bear River Casino. 2,300. Or it might have been 2,100. Whatever the sort. People fear y'all. I fear y'all to a certain degree. I'm from the place where fear turns into anger. Anger turns into rage. Y'all want the people to not uprise. And I totally respect that, because y'all are people also. But what are y'all doing against your blue line that none of them are crossing? Are there any corrupt cops in your police station? Yes. Are there any corrupt cops in your police station? Yes. Please don't tell me no. Please don't tell me no. It's gotta be at least one, because all black men don't do fucking dirt. But all of us be considered that shit. It's not, and sorry to use profanity, it's not a black and white thing. It's a conscious thing. On your conscience, are you willing to do that for the international media? Can we get the mayor to say that? Can we get the governor to say that? Because here it's peaceful, but in LA it ain't. And in Fresno it ain't. They using live, they got the fucking, the green light to use live ammunition. They shooting people on their porches in Minneapolis. But y'all standing around here talking about how good y'all are to us. What you doing with your other brother that's doing that? If I gangbang, if I'm Crip, Blood, Nieta, Latin King, Mataton, MS-13, any of that shit, you're gonna throw me in a gang unit. Right? Right? What the fuck y'all think y'all getting thrown into? The same pot. You might be an excellent person, upstanding citizen. You might have saved 10 people, 20, a project. But it don't matter, because your homie is a fuckboy. Hey, that's real. No, it's freedom of speech. I can say what I want to say. Hey. Don't lose focus. Don't lose my. Hey, I'm black. I am black. This is my. Hey. There you go. Ain't nobody talking. And there's women here. And women are getting killed. My black women are getting killed. My kids are getting killed. Dude, be easy. Come on now. That's the problem sometimes.
You want to hear me say something?
No, hold on. I'm not finished. I heard you a second ago.
Okay. This is your time.
A little bit of profanity, right? A little bit of me talking aggressively, right? You see what that sparked? I have a daughter who's black. I have a son who's black. I have scars on my wrists from cuffs. But I come out here to talk to the police. Not to rage, not to burn shit down. Oh, and we got the knowledge and the numbers. I stood on my phone last night talking to my homeboy. He a white dude. He legal. He got a shitload of arsenal. He's dying of cancer. He want to do all sorts of shit. You can't talk somebody down who's about to die. But I did that for 2 hours, man. That's not my job. That's hostage negotiation or whatever y'all is that y'all do. But he's fed up with other people doing bullshit, man. We ain't out here for shits and giggles in the middle of a pandemic. It's not meant for you to answer, or you individually to answer, or any of y'all individually to answer, until you talking to the camera. I didn't come here to talk to them. I came here to talk to y'all. I care about y'all. Y'all human beings. Y'all might save my ass one day. I might save you one day. We never know. You know what I'm saying? It's not fuck the police. It's fuck some of police tactics. You know? That's real, man. And we just frustrated, y'all. We going, and year after year after year, we listen to the songs. We turn on the news. We want to chill out. Al-Qaeda is the chillest Eureka. Oh, not Eureka, y'all know. But Al-Qaeda is one of the chillest places in the United States. Period. You know? Eureka's a little bit rough. Big ups to Eureka, though. But, like I said before, a lot of these places don't exist. So, if y'all are that unicorn, if y'all are that shining star, if y'all are that example, and be that extra, you gotta be extra. The same way we gotta be extra to survive in this non-white world or white world, y'all gotta be fucking extra to outshine that shit. Because it is a color thing when it comes to the majority of the people who's fucking off the people who are white people. You think that it's any easier if all, not saying y'all, but do they think that it'd be any easier if all of the colors were out of the country? I watch Russian news. Have you seen what happens in Russia? They get crazy in Russia. And the majority are not people of color. So white people who think that it's the brothers or the sisters or the Negroes or whatever the sort, I promise you, it ain't. You could get rid of all of us and you still gonna have a problem. That's my piece, and I thank you. I thank you, I thank all y'all for letting me say that instead of on some dumb shit. That's what's up.
Y'all won't catch corona from over here. Can y'all hear me? No. Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, there you go. Okay. I just wanted to, real quick, just encourage you guys to, after this moment, this can't just be a moment in time. We can't just sit here. You've heard it time and time again. We can't just sit here and gather for one moment and then leave and not encourage the person next to you, not encourage the people who are in your inner circle to start a conversation. You're going to hear some things that are going to make you uncomfortable. We've heard some things that make us uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, we have to work through that. We have to get through that discomfort to gain connection. We have to get through that discomfort in order to hear what it is to live on the other side. And that's something that we have had to do. We haven't had a choice. We haven't had a choice in this. And the crazy thing is that you have had a choice to look away from it, but I am begging you, please do not look away. When your coworker is talking mess, I need you to chime in. When your neighbor is talking about something that happened that they weren't even there, I need you to chime in and just question them. I'm not saying to go off on them. I'm not saying to throw up your fists and just march out. I want you to start a real, honest conversation. And honestly, that conversation starts within yourself. That conversation starts with you asking yourself, sitting your kids down at dinner table and asking them serious questions. Asking them, teaching them. Asking them what it is like to see all of this going on and to allow them to speak to you openly. And honestly, we have to break off the systems that have been passed down from generation to generation, because I know my generation for it. We're not having it. The old ways have got to go. We cannot continue like this. Our country is not going to make it through this. If we do not change, if we do not actually see things come to pass that have been said, we're not going to make it. And we want to make it, but we have to do it together. That's all I got to say.
I want to say the police have framed me in this town more than once. I've called internal affairs. They're being investigated because they don't have one in Eureka. I want everybody to know that I've been victimized by this police department recently. I still have marks on my cuffs. They said I was crazy. They took hearsay. They said I was bipolar. They're not doctors. They have to learn their lesson. They were at my house. I told them I was ashamed of them. And they allowed me to speak. No, I said, you don't have to allow me to do anything. And I said, I won't calm down. I won't quiet down. Don't tell me to quiet down. Do your job. You write a book on this, because I don't want to spend my time educating police on how to do their job. My best friends were police. So what you know about me, you know nothing. And if I tell you what I really did, why they really after me, I threatened a DA, a judge, a lawyer, and some sheriffs in Santa Cruz, and they don't like me. And I'm not threatening you, you're threatening me. And I'm not afraid of you. Just lie to them and keep coming to my house.
Hey, brother.
Yeah, I'm mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're here.
And we hear you.
We
hear you. And we hear you.
That's your problem. I'm not crazy. You are.
And they're listening. And they hear you. And they're standing right here and they're listening. Alright, real quick, I'm going to keep it short because I didn't even really want to say anything, but I'm a woman of God and I felt like God told me that I needed to say something. My name is Faith Elaine Scott. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I never knew what Eureka was, honestly. But I sat at my home and I was scared. I was scared to come out here. I was nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to be portrayed. But I sat at home. She's like my sister right here, Frances. I sat at home with her and I said, Frances, something has to change. Like, we have to be there to let people know that it's not okay what they're doing. I don't want anybody else speaking for me. I don't want anybody else to take my voice over and over and over and over and over again. So I came here and all my family told me that this was not a good idea. They were like, Faith, you know what? Sometimes you pop up at the mouth. You might need to stay home. And I was like, yeah, but like at the end of the day, I know my God's got me, and I know He has all my people, and I know that we're gonna sit here and we're gonna say what we have to say, because for so many years we've been silent. For so many years we've been told, well, maybe you're being too aggressive. Well, maybe you have to explain to them. Well, maybe they need to understand. They do need to understand, but I'm not the one that needs to help them understand. Right. So I'm just gonna say a real quick last thing for my meemaw, because my grandma fought so hard for me to be able to have a voice. And last night I talked to her on the phone, and she looked at me and she said, Faith, I've never had a white friend. I've never had a white teacher. I've never had a white classmate. But even if I did, to this day, I never had the chance to help people understand. And so you going out there and helping people understand, but also looking at your brothers and sisters. And sometimes I watched girls yesterday get in people's faces and get upset, and I'm like, I understand that you're hurt, but hurt people hurt people. And I'm also not gonna let you hurt me. And my brothers and sisters that are coming out here fighting. I met some amazing cops yesterday. I was able to call my mom, FaceTime my mom, while Sheriff Hansel stood next to me, and I was cracking jokes with him, and my mom was like, thank God. Like, my mom knows I make friends with people anywhere I go. She named me Faith for a reason. These people that are standing behind us, they're standing with us. So if we're coming out here saying we're going to peacefully protest, I don't need y'all saying F the police, F this, F that. I don't need you stepping in front of me to say what you have to say. I don't need that, and I don't want it. And yesterday, I made a decision. Like, I'm going to go where I need to go and say what I need to say, and nobody's going to stop me, but I'm going to do it respectfully. And I'm not going to show my ass for cameras. I'm not going to show my ass for people. I'm going to say what I need to say, and I'm going to do it out of love because that's how I was raised. And I'm not going to embarrass my family because, look, I'll be damned. I'm 22 years old, but my mom will still beat me. So I'm not saying, that's not me. So I want to say thank you to you and you and you and you and you and you.
We see you over there.
We see you over there, Sheriff Hansel. That's my dude. But I just want to say thank you because you made me feel safe. I was standing on the sidewalk not knowing if I could go protest because I didn't know what was going to happen. Chief Watson was like, come on, like, let's go. Like, it's okay. He let me know that it was okay. And so I stand with this police right here. I'm not standing with the bad officers, but it's not all of them. And we just need to open our eyes. So that's all I'm going to say. Love you guys.
Alright, I got some words I want to share. Louder? Yeah. Alright, y'all. My name really doesn't matter. I'm here for George Floyd and all the other brothers and sisters that have been wrongfully murdered by the police state. And I think that the issue is that we've kind of been made to be silent in these things. So our word is the most powerful thing in these moments. So I'm going to share some words, and I encourage y'all to share your words and make sure that you're heard, because that's what needs to be happening right now. This is for my ancestors too. We were taken from our motherland to this other land. In this other land, we mourn for our brothers and our mothers and our lost brothers. Cops with a gun in hand stun our plans. I don't think most people understand that this cycle runs deep. Subconscious microaggressions and white guilt steep in my cup of rage. I avoid the information for a couple days, like melanated skin craves to touch the rays of the sun. When the mother loses her son, all she wants to do is hold him. Had any other body got close, so too may their wings have folded prematurely. Surely there's got to be an answer to the question, how do we stop this violent oppression on our people? Sonetta TV told me there was evil in the people that have stripped my ancestors' places equal, yet I see truth is often hidden. I was blessed with light and darkness, so I bring the light and darkness to inspect the schisms. I can see how all the false information had me chasing fairy tales. Never landed can be fatal. Once I discovered my roots, not just bondage and slave rules, I learned of ancient Kemet. Only black skin won't blemish under raw's heat. That realization had me waking from a long sleep. I was under the impression that people from Egypt were true Egyptians, till I dipped into the history. Her story had me looking at it differently. Painted the picture, see, it all started clicking. As the clock hand was ticking and I learned more, my vision was enhanced. I saw black bodies in a trance, unaware of their greatness, hustling to advance. Jews and Arabs invest in slave ships. Some people say Africans had slaves too. They captured us and got paid to. That doesn't change the rules. Karma's unyielding, and there's still a lot of payments due. As long as I'm breathing, I'll keep speaking. Seeking peace within's the only way we'll ever see it leaking from our presence. To the black bodies in heaven, shining on me, I will carry your presence calmly until they call me by your side, and time evolves things, making emancipation final. I speak this as though it's revelations of a new Bible. What will be our story will be ours to write, not history. Triumph over lower energies, that is victory. Love is the highest form of healing. I have tasted hatred. It left me bitter like the taste it left. To hate your neighbor shields you from the truth. We are one eternal family. The motherland knows this. Returning in my fantasies, I found a purpose. You know the God that we've tried to worship, mostly by force? It crawls on the surface. It manifests as fruit-bearing seeds every thirst it quenches. It waters soothe the mind, troubled mind, and it serves its own. We're still benefiting others. We should study her, follow all her ways, rediscover her. I'm talking about Mother Earth. Oh man, I'm sorry, y'all.
No one knew.
Know that we are one with her. Fast and let her heal the same. Get up out her way, a higher intellect runs our veins. Yes, we all bleed red. But brown and black skin still suffers pain from ancestral trauma, white supremacy's tucked in ways. Lack of representation. I take that cup of rage to transmute the energy. I find comfort remains knowing that only have to be what I want to change. Give it all your effort so none of these deaths are in vain. Rest in power. Rest in power, George Floyd.
Check. Osage Maito Shichima Enta Yamoaka, Mayo Multo, we at Nama, we at Nopo. Saying hello, my name is Yamoaka. We are all on Wiat land. This is Wiat territory. Has been for thousands of years. I want to thank you all for your courage, for being here. We're talking about solidarity and unity. Why are we talking about this now in 2020? The United States has existed for 240 years as a colonial occupation of 573 indigenous nations. And we're now talking about solidarity and unity with people of color? Why haven't we had it thus far? And we need to realize what the basis of the colonial institution of policing was founded on, and it was mentioned earlier, on the capture, on the behalf of capitalist, slave-owning, cotton plantation, white male owners. When the Constitution was written, 5% of the population was allowed to vote. 5% of the population was considered human beings. And these were white, male, European capitalists who owned slaves. And they got it through the exploitation, genocide, and theft of indigenous people's lands. And the institution of policing was brought about by those same rich white capitalists from Europe who paid police to capture their property, runaway slaves. Or they were paid to incarcerate indigenous people or collect scalps with bounties for native people who had gone off the reservation. That's what the institution of policing in this colonial 240-year-long occupation of stolen indigenous lands was founded on. So that's why you said you're here to listen. I want to give you some perspective. In my opinion, there is no such thing as a good cop. for the United States because you don't have the right to police lands that you stole from indigenous peoples. This is the Wiyot Nation. And everyone's welcome, and they have been from day one. Since the Pokanoket welcomed the Pilgrims in Plymouth, Massachusetts, everybody's been welcome. It's been the colonial, rich, white settlers who 60 years after the Thanksgiving event chopped off the Pokanoket chief's head and stuck it on a spike and spread corn around it every year to celebrate Thanksgiving. So, the reality of the situation is we want change. We ask for change. There's a lot of good talk about change. But right now, in Louisville, Kentucky, your brothers in blue aren't changing. They're firing into crowds of people. On the reservation in North Dakota, they're firing into crowds of people. 2016, I was there and I watched it. Tear gas, rubber bullets, LRAD sound cannons blowing people's eardrums out, taking out people's eyes, blowing off little 21-year-old white girls that just want to be there in solidarity, blowing their arms off with concussion grenades. Militarized police force that are taking weapons from the army, rolling in tanks, using military-grade weaponry, coming out here looking like the Terminator instead of Officer McFriendly. We're not going to get justice from a system that wasn't designed to give it to us in the first place. You say if you don't have our trust, you shouldn't exist. Well, maybe that is the answer. Maybe we need to look back to where it all began with the institution of slavery and colonialism, look to our indigenous First Nations, start returning land, start gaining sovereignty for the 22 million displaced and stolen peoples of Africa who were taken to build this nation for the white men at the end of a whip. In order to get justice, we got to go back and undo the systems of oppression that are inherently ingrained.
Abolish the system.
The whole damn system. And if that means all of you turning in your badges, that's what it means. It certainly means you all turning in your guns. I want to say, Kelly, thank you again. Thank you for your courage. Stand strong, people.
My name is Evelyn Sandoval. I'm 24 years old, and I was a political science major at CR. I was there until December of 2018. Pretty much like a few months ago, I kicked the county. Like, okay, so the government is a contract between the people, like those that are governed and those who govern. And the reason why they're there is because they're supposed to provide what we otherwise couldn't provide for ourselves, our basic needs, right? Well, I've been here for 3 years looking for housing, and all I've gotten is a foster care case. They took my kids away. They put me in a mental hospital. They tried to put me on medications. And like the other day, it was not that long ago, I got pulled over, and I asked them why, and they said it's because I had some beads hanging from my mirror. And then they arrested me, and I told them why, you know, and they said because I had a warrant for my arrest. But only I had just gotten my license and my car registered, and that wasn't possible if I had any like open cases with the court. So I didn't have a warrant because I did have my license that I just got and my car registered. They arrested me, they put me in jail, and like I didn't know why. But days before I had thought about it, and days before I seen this homeless girl, and I gave her clothes and I let her sleep in my car because it was really cold outside. And before they arrested me, it was by the library. One of those little carts that harasses the homeless people by the library, they pulled up next to me, like while I got arrested, and they were looking in my car, but thank God the girl wasn't there anymore, you know? So like the cart just left. But then later I put two and two together, and I was like, wait, maybe that's why they arrested me. They were probably hoping to see that girl in my car that I was helping out, you know? And they did not have a reason to arrest me, and then they let me go. Like when I after I got out the mental hospital, like they asked me, like they tried to give me back my kids. But I was like, I'm in Humboldt, and like I don't have family, and I'm homeless, and me and the kids have been sleeping in the car, and if you give me back the kids, we're not gonna have, like, I'm gonna be in the same place I was in before, like suicidal, stressed out. Like, we want housing first.
Well, they've put me through a lot these past 9 months, and it's a whole system. Like, it's a whole system. When the colonizers got here, they split up the state into counties, and then there's families that own the counties. They own everything, the police station, everything. When I went to court for like tickets and stuff, like they collected like $50,000 just in that one courtroom, and it's like, think about all the other courtrooms that are going on at that time. How much money did that make in that time period, in that day? And when you go up into the judge tells you, oh, Evelyn Sandoval against the people of Humboldt County. Well, what people, when you guys are collecting all this money and you're more busy like harassing homeless people in the street than you are Kyle, a murderer. Like, you're a joke. Like, you know what tax evasion is? That's a felony, and Trump is still sitting in the White House. But I'm going to the mental hospital and I need meds. No, I need somewhere to live and some fucking money, because basically if you're not providing that for me, you're useless. And the cops, bro, like, fuck the police, hell yeah. Like, what the fuck, they arrested me for no reason. I didn't even kill nobody. I didn't even do shit. All I did was try to help a homeless lady. And bro, the other day, like by Texaco, there was this like, yeah. I seen a cop harassing this homeless man, right? And the homeless man was like this. He looked scared. He looked like he was on drugs. Like, he looked like a scared little kid, you know? And the cop was like, so I just couldn't like not do something. So I went back over there, I parked my car, and then I crossed the street, and I was like, hi, my name is Evelyn. And then I looked at him, and it was the same motherfucker that took me to the mental hospital. Shit. And then he's like, get away from me right now. And I was like, hold on, you're a public servant, and I have a question for you. I was like, how is it that you feel that you're doing our community a service by harassing this man? And the guy was like, and like, you let Kyle the murderer walk the streets. And you know, and he was like, get away from me right now. And then like days later, I helped the homeless lady. And then like a few days after that, they took me to jail. And then I had a reason to take me to jail. So fuck police! And then, bro, you don't know, like, they do all kinds of shit. And here in Humboldt, you guys live in a bubble, and the police is nice to you if you have money. But if you're broke and you're homeless, you're a fucking problem. But you could be balling and go to a university and kill somebody, and you're an outstanding member of society. No, fuck no. Okay, so when I say fuck the police, I say that shit with heart. You don't know what they've done to my family. You don't know what they've done to me. You don't know. I've seen what they do. I've been on Skid Row, bro. Like, I've lived there with my fucking kids. Like, I know what the fuck that is. I see what the fuck they do to people. And you know what? You don't choose to be black. You're born black. You choose to be a fucking cop and get paid to do some bullshit.
Hello? Oh, shit. I'm sure y'all can hear me, right? Yep. Okay, cool, because I'm loud as shit. I mean, stuff. My bad. So, I'm not going to tell y'all my name because I'm sure a lot of y'all recognize me and know who the hell I am. But what I want to say is, what are y'all going to do about all of the cops that have been reported for just misconduct or brutality here in Eureka? Yes! Because this is your city. This is our city. So what are y'all going to do about that? Because there's many cops that I've known since I've lived here for 20 years that are still on the force. They just get moved around from a different department to a different department to a different department. But they're still out here doing the same shit. So what are y'all going to do? That's what I would like to know. When are y'all going to arrest that Kyle dude for murdering Josiah? When are y'all going to do that? When are y'all going to actually have, like, dude said we have no internal affairs here. Why don't we have one here? Why do we have to source out help to police y'all? You guys are citizens on patrol. You're citizens like I am. Like all these people are. We are all citizens. We're supposed to be protecting each other and loving each other, right? We're here together. Yes. So what are y'all going to do to police the police? Y'all need to do something about your internal structure, because y'all have some corrupt people in all of your divisions. Yep. All of your sectors, you do. And if you say you don't, when after you said, are there any racists in your departments? Yo, no. Don't lie. Be real. You called us all out here. You want to set this up for the people? All we want from you is transparency and honesty. Yep. If you want to sit here and say that you stand with us, actually stand with us and call out them pigs. The people that are fucking shit up for everybody else. The people who are making y'all look bad. Unless you guys like to look bad. Unless y'all want y'all to keep looking like you want us to keep looking at you like all cops are bad. Hashtag ACAB. All cops is bastards. Sorry about it. If you're not doing anything to actually help and to get out the fucking bad people inside of your fucking offices, You're just as bad as the cops who are out here actually killing us. Plain and simple. If you're not doing anything but giving us lip service in front of cameras on a Monday at 1 p.m. when most people were at work, you guys could have did this on Saturday in front of the courthouse. It could have been Sunday in front of the courthouse. During the day, I was out there on Saturday. During the day, y'all were happy, happy, joy, joy, blocking off the streets. And all of a sudden, where did all the fucking police go when all these cars are zipping through the street, hitting people with their cars? The sun goes down, riot gear's coming out. I just heard that y'all was shooting at people last night. Keep that same happy energy during the day and the night. Keep that same energy. That's all we want, because what? You put on a mask, we can't see your faces. When you put on your riot gear, you ain't got your little name tags on. More transparency is what we want from y'all. Police each other, please. Because we can't. Because anytime anyone writes a report, it goes unanswered. It goes unheard.
Or they get killed.
Or, thank you, they get killed. They get murked. They get disappeared.
Yep.
I know that's not a word, sorry. But I'm just saying. Do something else. Be better, please. That's all we want y'all to do is be better. You can tell me, oh, I have black blood in me. I'm African American. I'm Mexican this. I don't fucking care. Act like it then. Be outraged like we are. Don't ask us why we're outraged. Be outraged with us.
Drop the charges! You guys arrested him unwillingly. He was a peaceful protester. He was de-escalating the system. You guys came out and you guys put rubber bullets. My friends have welts on them. And they're picking up trash from other people. You wrongfully arrested him, charged him with a felony, and I have friends with welts who are burning from pepper spray. Y'all are peace officers.
Y'all are shooting people who were cleaning up shit? Oh, y'all some bitches. Oh, y'all some bitches. That's not true.
There's a lot more to that story. We actually really pressed police to explain. So
what's the story then? What's the story?
All right, are you ready to listen for a moment?
Shut it down.
Okay. So what happened was the group that separated after the rally was over. So we had the march, we had the rally here, we had the rally at the courthouse, the 9 minutes kneeling in memory of George Floyd. Later on that night, as it got dark, most of the protesters or demonstrators went home. Sorry, this mic isn't the greatest. Later on that night, I think it was a little bit before 10, the remaining group of maybe about 60 people go ahead and march down the streets around Eureka, eventually ended up at Target, where we saw individuals attempting to vandalize the store. We identified one individual positively that we witnessed vandalize the store. The group then left and ended up heading back towards town, presumably to the courthouse. Along the way, certain individuals within the group, not everyone, certain individuals within the group began to vandalize property. We had spray paint on buildings and items. We had a window broken out, I believe at Sizzler, and acts of vandalism occurring. Since we had identified the suspect, we knew that committed one of the vandalisms at least, and the vandalisms were continuing along their path, we felt that we needed to make an arrest.
So
that we had a duty to make an arrest. I'm going to finish the ask you, I want to tell you.
I'm sorry, baby.
So, as officers moved in to arrest that individual, a group of the people that were part of the march rushed in and mobbed the officers and physically tried to take the suspect away from them, which is a felony and a crime. The pepper balls were deployed, which have a powder that's an irritant. 2 of our officers actually got hit as well. But it did move the crowd back. And that's what it took in order to not have to use more force and make an arrest. The individual you spoke to, I believe, is the one that was arrested for 405A of the Penal Code, which is a crime and a serious crime when you physically try to remove or take back a prisoner from officers. And that's why he was arrested. He'll have his day in court. There's body-worn camera footage that will review the entire incident. And that's what happened.
How is his day in court when coronavirus is going on? How are y'all throwing people in jail? How are you putting people in jail and they can't fucking social distance? Explain that. You got segregated cells? I didn't think so.
Look, I understand. Listen, I understand and I hear that there are
Little kid
concerns.
got hit by a car. Like, people on my live feed are telling me all this shit that just happened last
What I would
week.
like to know as we begin to wrap this event up, there was a lot that's been said here. We have a little more time.
How much
Is there
was
anyone else that would like to
How much
speak
was
before
his
we?
bail? Excuse me, how much was on
I
his
don't know.
bail?
I don't
You don't know? How do you guys
They gotta wrap it up.
What, didn't Eureka
Anyways, I want-
didn't Eureka Police, excuse me,
We have someone that would like to speak that I would like to
didn't
give the sign.
Eureka Police
Please go
arrest
ahead.
him? You don't know his bail?
I didn't make this So, can everybody hear me? Oh. So I'm from a southern family, and I say south, we're from way down south. We're from North Carolina, Virginia. I come from an interracial family, but the difference between my family is that they've been fighting since the dawn of time. My Jewish side of the family, my mom decided to go work for the Black Panthers. Not as a cliche as one given, all the Black Panthers did was sit there and shoot people. They were feeding, providing food, providing clothing, helping families off the street, helping with their homes that got burnt to the ground. And we're still doing that same shit today. My family, on my black side of the family, my dad had to deal with getting jumped every day by the Ku Klux Klan, but that's the only way he could get to school. Because he wanted to make sure he still had education to try and provide a good life for his family. And then he joined the army to help make sure that his children have a better life. But how can we really say kids are having a better life? You got your great-great-grandparents working hard during the Civil War, hoping that their kids don't have to deal with it. And you got your grandparents fighting, hoping that their kids don't have to deal with it. And you're sitting here with your parents during the Civil Rights Movement, hoping they don't have to deal with it. Here we come as Generation X, and we're still dealing with it. Now we're watching millennials having to do the same shit every day. We are still being judged by the color of our skin, but if you're the one judging people by the color of their skin, you still have the easiest crimes to get away with. You get to get away with that crime every day. If a black officer was kneeling on George Floyd's neck, he would be in first-degree murder charges, not third-degree. If the three cops standing right there, they'd be getting second-degree murder charges. And where's Josiah's murderer? Huh? You all have cameras you're saying on. You got cameras everywhere on campus, and you're gonna say you don't know who murdered him? What's our DA doing? What's Maggie Fleming doing? Racism ain't based on what party you're a part of. Doesn't matter if you're a libertarian, a socialist, a Democrat. You choose to be racist. If you're choosing to be racist and you hate people because of the color of their skin, then you deserve the same response from us. If you're going to shoot and burn our homes down, if you're going to burn still crosses down south, we still have crosses being burnt on our yards. My mom lives in Colorado, and we have swastikas put all throughout our community. And you're saying the time has changed. No, because we still have the same laws. You're still able to get away with things. Why do you think we got Donald Trump in the White House? Facts. Well, should he be there? Hell no. He didn't answer. Being asked if you're racist is a yes/no question. Are you racist? Yes or no? If your answer is, I'm the least racist of all, you're racist. Okay, Donald Trump, you're racist. So let's just be honest. That's exactly what the answer is. So, but the thing is that we need to have the same laws and strictness applying to the white people that are applying the hatred that you apply to black people who aren't even doing it. We got black people walking down the streets, they can be shot, they have to worry about walking out of their houses. How do you know your kids are coming home? How do you know you're going to come home? When a cop pulls by you, how do you know if you should, you're all thinking, should I put my hands up or something? Am I going to be safe around this police officer, or is he going to, or should I just walk away? Put my hands up, let him know, hey, I'm not armed. When I come to the South, I've been shooting since I was a kid. My dad was Army. And thank you, by the way, for your service. Appreciate that very much. And welcome home, because you made it back. So that's what matters most. And, you know, if you want to get, but you still have black people having it harder with carrying a concealed weapons permit than a white person. You're going to see them looking more at a black person than a white person.
They killed dude that had his permit in the car.
They killed him right in his car with his having his weapons permit. But yet, we're still not having the same crime charges. You want to say you're doing something for us? Then start fighting for the charges to be the same. Create laws restricting those charges. If your butt wants to sit here, you want to be a racist? Send your ass to Canyon City, Colorado. We still in the maximum security prisons in the United States. I'm from Colorado. Number maximum security prison? Right there in Colorado. Because if you want to be able to sit there and shoot somebody because of the color of their skin, you're going to sit there 8 minutes on his neck, and you're sitting on his neck. You have an EMT that comes up and says, stop, I am an EMT. And that lady's having to stand, and you are still there, and none of the three stand next to you are even taking your ass off? Well, then you all deserve to be I'll put on murder. And you all asses deserve to be sent to Canyon City. If you want to do the crime, go to the maximum security prison, and then you stay close to some real bad crimes too, and tell me if you deserve to live. So it's not just about social media, it's about us using our feet and our voices. Not one day. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't march one day. They marched every day. They held those signs up every day. They crossed that Selma Bridge. Senator John Lewis, he crossed that bridge, gets hit in the head, goes to the hospital, gets his ass up out of bed the next day and still crosses Selma Bridge. That's why minorities can vote today. We need to remember our civil rights leaders and what they did for us. And we need to make sure we follow the same actions that they did to make sure that we do not keep repeating. We are still repeating the civil rights movement. All we have is different things. We now have badges. They still have badges back then too. We see it with the law, we just hide it better. The only different thing that's helping us today is that we have cell phones with cameras on them. So now we can show it more. That's the only difference. But we're still repeating, we are still America as a guinea pig in a wheel, just spinning around. Spinning around. So who you vote for and what you're doing when you're in those positions is what matters. So if you vote for someone, you see them doing that, it doesn't matter what party they are, call them out. Call them out. Get there and protest in front of their office and get them out of their office. Because if we don't start doing the exact same things that our past did for us, especially that civil rights movement and our slaves, we would not be standing here today, and we got to make sure we keep standing here today by doing the same fight that they did for us. Do not stop. It is not about one day of protesting. You got to protest every damn day. March your feet to the White House. March your feet to the doorstep of the United States Supreme Court. Because once we need to make them make their decisions, keep their decisions being made for all of us, we the people of America. Because minorities, we're here, and we ain't gonna be quiet. Because I sure as hell ain't. Us Southerners are not quiet people. We are loud, we're blunt, and we ain't gonna stop. Thank you.
Can anyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Yeah. I don't need a microphone. You should get the microphone. I should get the microphone.
Right there. Hello? Better? Okay. So, I don't know about y'all, but I've been having real trouble sleeping at night. So we need to look at the source of the problem. The source of the problem is racism and racist police officers in our country. The solution is simple. We simply cannot let racist people become gun-toting, trained killers. And we must teach them and train them so. Let me set something straight, okay? Racism still exists in America. It's not as loud, in your face, everywhere racism that once was the time of slavery or segregation, unless you follow our president on Twitter. Today, racism is silent, sneaky, but deadly. Okay, it's residual racism. People can even be racist and not know it. Because of the way our society consumes media, we have all formed implicit racial biases. We, people of color, understand that not all cops are racist. However, the numbers have led us, the people, to understand that the police are not to be trusted. The numbers have also shown us that black and brown people are stopped, harassed, incarcerated, and killed by the police far more than white people. The data has shown police officers have biases, whether implicit or explicit, that led them to favor the lives of white people over blacks and browns. That means sometimes people go around saying, I'm not racist, I'm not racist. We hear it all the time, when deep down they really are. The deadliest type of police is the kind that are ignorant to their own implicit biases. So let me ask you a question. Is racial implicit bias taught in your police academy?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
All right, so I have 5 demands. We have 5 demands if you want the American people's trust again. 1, we demand that all police officers must undergo extensive and reoccurring racial implicit bias education and training. 2, we demand that all current and incoming police officers take the racial implicit bias test created by Harvard University. 3, we demand that the incoming and current officers pass this test before getting their badges, guns, and titles. We demand that all 3 branches of government support and adopt this training requirement and write it into law and abide by it. We demand our president show support for all people of color and their lives. The racial implicit test is only one way to help people see that they have unchecked biases. However, it is the responsibility of oneself to be constantly reflective and responsible about one's own position of power. If you cannot pass these implicit racial bias tests, then you cannot become a police officer or elected official, and you must continue further education and training. You are allowed to retake the test after your educational course for a maximum of 3 attempts. And those are my 5 demands. And you can keep it.
I'll just keep it quick because I'm getting tired of talking to you. Do your job. Arrest rapists. Arrest murderers. Okay? It's not complicated. Tired of talking to you all. You know what to do. Don't expect us to change. Do your job. There's children in this community that are getting raped, and they know about it, and they're doing nothing about it. We have brothers and sisters that are getting murdered, and they know who's guilty, and they're doing nothing about it. So most communities, African Americans are the most likely to be put in foster care, but because we have such a small community of African Americans up here, it's mostly Native Americans. This is another form of genocide. They're stealing our children. The parents can legally not access their children to protect them. This is really scary to me as a teacher. I'm a teacher, right? I'm a peaceful person. In fact, I have a degree in peace studies. I had my windows broken. I was sitting in my car reading in a neighborhood in Eureka, and I had my windows broken, okay? And I was detained. This is concerning to me. My neighbors are getting harassed daily for not picking up their trash. They live outside, okay? They're getting woken up 3, 4, 5 in the morning and asked to move because it's uncomfortable for those of us that get to sleep inside. This is concerning to me, okay? These are real issues. I met a guy. You say you want to make a change? Just on May 28th, the guy told me a cop had broke his ribs. Asked if he was going to contest it. He had a bracelet on like he had just gotten out of the hospital. He said, no, he looks scared. Okay? These are real concerns, and we need your help as a community to address it. Because if I go after my friend's rapist, he could come after me or my family, right? And I know 3 Native women and 1 Asian, right? American that have been raped in the foster care system. Please know about it. They're complicit. The DA doesn't do anything. She's worthless, right? Yep. 2 of them are murdered. 2 of them are still alive. I don't want to wait around and see if my friend's going to be murdered because you guys can't arrest a rapist. All right? I don't understand about do your job. It's complicated, but it's a waste of my time. Like the one brother said, the system that oppresses us is not going to liberate us, right? So we need your help as a community. That's it. Thank you.
I appreciate everybody that came out here and even stood up because they might have been scared to say what they know about the policing in our area. So thank you very much for that. But I want to say this, got to keep it real. What are you going to do about this? What are you, each and every one of you, is going to do about this? If you have an issue or a problem, they gave you a platform to come here and complain about it. Great, appreciate that. But now what are we going to do as a community to change that? That's why I said, after all of this is said and done, what are you going to do? Are you going to go back home and live your life and not be part of the community that is being policed by these officers? So what I would want each one of you to think about and consider about the part that you're going to do. And that's why I brought up the fact that the Civilian Review Board Oversight Committee for Policing. Do you hear me?
Yes.
You need to understand that there are committees and there are ways that we can be informed as communities to how even policing works. Just like this sister said about what's going on with the rape and women's brutality. And that's real. We all know that's real. But guess what? These officers have a certain way that they have to go about doing that. Because this is America. They have constitutional rights. But because the citizens are ignorant to how that actually works, we're just mad at them. That ain't right. Because like we just sit here and stood, a lot of them are good officers. We're just able to see the bad ones because they're videotaped. There's good policing every day. We don't see that on video. Am I right? Am I wrong? But my point is this. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. You have to do a part. Are you going to be part of the board? Are you going to sit here and talk to these police officers? That's what I'm saying. So let's work at the next thing. Let's look at what we're going to do after we leave here.
We are asking. We are asking questions, and some of these questions aren't being answered. Hence, the shooting at innocent people the other night, or the you saying a review board.
Oversight. If there's an oversight, there has to be some sort of repercussion.
Who's going to oversee it then?
No, and this is what I'm saying. I said civilian, brother. There are hundreds of cities that have civilian oversight committees.
All right, we're going to create one.
We can do that. I'm already in contact with people to do that. But I want people to understand that there's got to be something done after this. This is a call. I don't want to talk no more.
We're going to do it.
I don't want to talk no more.
We want to do it. We support. We understand. We're going to organize. We are going to organize.
Why are you talking to the black people instead of talking to the cops?
Why are you yelling at us?
We have our part.
Okay.
We're changing some shit. They're not listening to us.
You preaching to the pastor and COVID.
Okay. But anyway, but that's my point.
Power to change some stuff.
We have to, I understand that, and I do.
Okay, so thank you so much for sharing. We can organize. We will organize. No, we will. We will. I'm telling you right now, my name is Mikeia Washington. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I will bring that presence. I got connections. We will organize the black organizations, the communities, and we will do it together. And I'm pledging that to you. And we're going to work with them to do it. But let's do it. Okay, so let's do it. From our end, we are going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap this up. And I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you all for sharing your voices. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you.